Confused lah, tapi maybe nanti okay kot for now.
Baca. Kalau you baca, you akan nampak dia sebab benda yang I tak boleh nak clarify, akan di-clarify dari reading tu.
So for now lah, my clarification, Hagglestorm ni macam set the foundation for the others lah kan? Like for the others to achieve what they want to propose for, they need to experience.
Every one of them is about experience. It's about realism.
Okay.
So jadi itu foundation. So empat orang ni memang foundation. Yang introduce foundation is Hagglestorm. Yang 3 orang tu continue with the Hagglestorm punya foundation. Tapi dia orang ada cara dia orang untuk sendiri untuk nak buat.
Oh, okay, faham. Macam Landstad dengan cara dia yang fokus dengan social welfare, Oliver Crona tu pula fokus dengan anyone yang ada power boleh use their power psychologically.
Monopolize.
And Ross pula dia legal politics untuk for the legislative tu.
There you get it.
Semua based on experience. Alright.
Yes. Foundation tu mesti sama.
Okay, thank you so much sir.
Welcome.
Okay, last. Maknanya Hagglestorm tu je lah yang macam provide the method, tapi macam orang lain kan ada the objective that they want to achieve. Tapi Hagglestorm macam tak nampak sangat ada objective, tapi nampak yang apa-apa pun experience.
Betul. Macam Hagglestorm buat keluar nasi. Dia introduce nasi and then the rest buat nasi dagang ke, nasi goreng ke.
Okay.
Analogi dia macam tu lah. Boleh nampak yang tu analogi tu. Nasi everything Landstad for nasi, tapi nasi yang lain. Tapi still nasi.
Okay. Thank you so much sir.
Welcome. Bye. Hi Marine. Hi Farah.
Hi sir.
So how's things? Okay.
Sorry sir. Tak dengar. I cannot hear.
How's everything okay?
Oh yeah, okay sir.
Alhamdulillah. Sekejap tunggu dia orang Ustaz. Assalamualaikum. Good afternoon, guys.
Waalaikumsalam,
Can you hear
sir.
me? Waalaikumsalam. Okay.
Boleh, saya boleh dengar.
Alright, can we start? Cik Baik ada group yang sebelum ni dia minta record towards the end baru nak start record. Okay, do you have any questions pertaining to the juris that we discovered this morning?
Sir,
Any questions?
question.
Good. Go.
Sir,
Okay.
what does it mean by in the modern state intern, an organization had monopolized the use of force?
That is the reality, right? In our current modern state, we have organization that monopolize the use of force. They will utilize whatever means in order for them to get what they want. Betul tak?
Betul.
Everyone is selfish. Everyone wants to get what they want. So in order kalau kita tengok ramai orang tengah berkelahi untuk dapat benda yang sama, there will be somebody that is the tendency is to be in power to monopolize the situation. Tapi hopefully here it is not monopolizing in a bad way lah. It can also lead to the bad way, or turn out to be bad. If you have a bad leader, obviously everything will turn bad.
Examples macam mana?
Example sekarang macam kerajaan kita ada sekarang, doesn't mean that they are doing good. If you're looking at the rate of death, let's be practical, because we look at the reality of the situation. The reality is based on facts. The fact showing that we more or less are failing in terms of the method or the approach that we are taking towards eradicating ataupun trying to eliminate COVID. America is doing successfully. Certain other countries are doing successfully because they suffered a lot, even worse than us. But it turns out every day for us is the number is like the new apa orang kata new new apa level kan? New apa orang panggil? New level, new history ataupun new record. Every day is getting higher and higher and higher. Where does it stop? So if you want to cut down, you have to give vaccination. The vaccination is being controlled by only one company, and then it will be centered to only certain location. Others doctors are saying that if we want to eradicate this so-called in a very fast manner, it has to be done by all institutions, all hospitals that is able to handle that. Kenapa you tak lagi? Bukannya penyakit. This is vaccination. There's two different things. Oh, you nak isolate orang sakit di hospital dengan the one coming. Then what's the point of opening up all the clinics? People pergi juga clinics kan. Then let the clinics do the job. Why not?
So is that the example of like how they monopolize the use of force? Macam tu ke?
Yalah, use the law lah. They utilize the force in a way that So what he wants to do is to be able to, for this organization that is able to monopolize the use of force, to be able to do what they need to be doing, to have a psychological effect towards the legal rules, through the legal rules that they want to come about. For example, I've given the example to the previous class. Singaporean, if they are at their in their state, obviously they are well-behaved people, but the moment they cross over into Malaysia, they become hooligans. They don't care about the law. They think us substandard as compared to their society. They can do whatever they want, because we have not able to portray the law having a psychological effect irrespective of who is coming to the country.
Because isn't it easier to administer dekat Singapore because they are a small country unlike us?
Okay, look, it's not about we have the number of enforcers is equivalent to those of Singapore. So kalau population Singapore is like 3 million or 5 million, right? The ratio of police force enforcement system is the same dengan Malaysia. Kalau dia kata just because kita 33 million then we cannot handle, doesn't make sense. Then you are failing to do your job. You are not able to monopolize the situation. If you are the government, you should be able to control the society. You cannot guna alasan kata, oh, dia orang kecil, kita besar. How about America then? How about European countries? They are able to take control of the society. They have more population than us. So dia orang ni sebenarnya kalau you tengok Westerners, they will do things because they know why they are doing it. Psychological effect tu memang masuk. Kita ni tak nampak tau. The Asians ni kita banyak kepada brute force of the law. Itu dia takut je. Tapi the moment dia kata law tu tak ada, terpai kandang. You know, you find ways and means in order for you to run away from the law. Polis buat roadblock, okay, semua orang help each other dekat mana ada polis. So you still want to go against the law and you try and find ways in order to run away from the law. That is not good because they don't know what, by doing that, they are spreading the cases, you know, to others. What happened to those people yang law-abiding people yang stay at home? Dia kata, tak guna betul. Dia orang boleh cross country, dia boleh cross state. Why we are still living in our home, not going anywhere? Dah start marah. Your psychology effect is not there because the practicality that you are doing things is not able to have that, tak berkesan langsung. You ada undang-undang tetapi undang-undang yang keluarkan tak berkesan pada psikologi rakyat Malaysia.
Tapi kan sir, sorry lah I kacau lah sir. Tapi
No, it is your time ni. Ini untuk you cakap, okay.
Tapi sir, isn't it like macam government punya fault juga because they're the ones who didn't follow the rule first, and then the ones who are the society who abide the rules see that the example from the government that they're not following what they made, so end up orang pun macam retaliate lah sir, macam okay dah kalau my government, all the ministers are not following the rules, why should we follow the rules, you know? That's why lah I feel like the reason why the situation sekarang jadi begini.
Sejak you boleh kenal baik dengan buruk, sejak you kecil, you are taught to abide the law. It is psychologically impacted in our mind. We have to abide the law. Why we have to abide the law is because the common good. Betul tak? You and I, we are being educated in that sense. Every one of us. We have to abide the law. Why we have to abide the law? Because there are elements of goodness in the law that you have to abide. But bila sekarang kita tengok certain quarters tak abide the law, certain people are released, you know, or relief just because they are artists, just because they are popular people, just because they are people stature in the public. Tak boleh, because it will destroy the fundamental psychology of obedience towards the law. So sampai bila kita nak achieve kita punya mission untuk trying to control COVID? Nampak tak? This law that they propose ataupun they implement fail. Why it is failing? Because they themselves do not follow the law. When they allow the law is not to be followed by themselves or their family members or some people or artists, you know, apa ni? People kata, this is tak boleh jadi, aku pun nak juga. People find means and ways in order for them to get away. So then macam mana you nak bawa society forward?
But shouldn't the government like do something about it right now? So because I feel like what they're doing right now is not enough to like control the situation.
Ya, betul. Itu on that. Tapi kalau on vaksin, macam mana? First we look at the cost. Second we look at the cost dekat Malaysia dengan cost dengan everywhere else. Kenapa ada banyak beza sangat ni? Who's making profit out of that? Kenapa pula takkan US ada okay ataupun Astra bagi different prices for every country? Question. Ya, okay lah kita naik sikit harga. Macam mana ini benda life and death to the society. Kenapa overburden the society with cost? It is the people's money, it's not the government money. Excuse me. Yeah, we the people who pay tax, that money that the government is using is our money. So how come ada orang naik harga? Question. Kenapa distribution nak kena ada dekat certain area and being handled by certain one company saja? If the eradication ataupun the immunization yang kita nak capai is very important, then all means has to be utilized in order for us to achieve that. Kalau nak kata ada company yang boleh bawa masuk, why not? Kalau ada state yang tolong nak bawa masuk, people that is wanting to purchase, nak buat amal jariah. If I'm a millionaire, I want to pay 2 million or 3 million, up to me. Because the end game is the vaccination of the society. Ini you bagi tunnel punya effect. Tunnel punya effect tahu tak? Semua orang nak kena masuk tunnel tu. Wah, tunnel tu tak sepatutnya ada. Bottleneck punya macam kita tengok 5 lane nak jadi 3 lane. Akan jadi jam. Ya, bila jadi jam, jadi injustice lah. If you allow a situation to take place, it will take place. If you have no control over the law and order, you are not able to monopolize it, and people will, why do I have to follow the law? You tengok dekat jam, ada 5-6 lane nak jadi 2 lane. What will happen? Semua pakat do their own business, trying to jump the queue, do all the things that they need to do in order for them to get to be in front. So why? Because there is no control. If you really want to do the job, you have to do the job. Kalau nak kata vaksin dosage, dengan dosage, it so happen that volunteers are letting know that dosage yang mana yang dibuka, orang yang tak datang, selalunya doctors akan call their family members and whatever relative that they have, in order to get that dosage. Mana boleh? Because dosage is ada listed pada siapa yang sepatutnya kena ambil. If it's not there, then a system has to be in place in order for that dosage to be utilized in a proper manner. Maksudnya ada orang register bulan 2 lagi tahun lepas, bulan 2 lagi tahun ni, katalah bulan 2 dia dah register, dia tak dapat lagi. Tapi orang yang tak register, yang tak ada apa-apa, yang just because they are very close to doktor yang dekat tempat immunization tu, call, they can bypass. Mana boleh? You cannot. If you are a practical person based on Scandinavian realism, you go on reality of the situation. The reality is that orang tak datang. Fine. How do you counter that? Because benda dose tu akan expire within a few hours. So what you need to do is to have a system that pool of people can go there to the immunization punya center and list themselves according to sequence punya number. You give their number. Therefore, ada je dosis tu call dia orang. They can linger around the place.
So how about the ones yang tak boleh pergi? So like the problem that we have right now is that from like orang yang duduk kampung, they don't have transportation, so bagai tu macam mana?
Itu isu nombor 3. Kenapa pula center ada certain center saja? This is not sickness punya situation. Bukan yang tempat tahanan untuk COVID. This is tempat vaksin. Tempat vaksin is just vaksin. Kenapa you over sangat? Semua tempat-tempat di pecah tu macam mana? You nak suruh dia orang datang. You expect student datang, you expect student semua datang, and then you lecturer, apa orang kata macam mana nak buat nak bagi example. Student pergi kelas, and then macam mana, you have to have a place that everyone meets, you know. Tapi this so-called classroom yang kita tengok, the real punya classroom, if because of COVID we cannot have that, then we have the alam maya, so we have the online punya teaching. So you have to diversify your method in order to get your outcome that you wanted. So kalau dia orang tak boleh datang, then you go to them. Alah, dulu boleh. Kalau dekat election aja, ada bas mengangkut lah, itulah, inilah. Untuk orang nak pergi mengundi, boleh pula. You know, why can it be done? It has to be based on reality, based on the things that you will be able to discover if you realize. Ini kan dibuat banyak kepada, I think we should do like this. Dia tak ada practical sense. Dia tak ada based on reality. Ini yang masalah dia. What we need to do, you akan jadi somebody, lawyer ke, magistrate ke, you akan jadi somebody that is important in the future. Please do not do this kind of thing. Okay, so if it's urgent, you have to tackle that. Tackle it based on reality, based on the practical sense of it, not based on something that you think. You know, masalah dia bila orang think, bila dia fikir, saya rasa habis. This is what Scandinavian tak suka. Rasa ni, dia tak suka rasa-rasa, dia suka experience. So experience is better than thinking. I think, you know, think is your mind. It is not based on your senses. You know, thinking is just thinking, your brain. It is nothing got to do with rationality in terms of the reality. So, kena tengok, kena pegang, kena idu, kena rasa. So, benda baru nampak real. Nampak sedap makanan tu, tapi bila you rasa, lain pula rasanya. Yeah? You think that the thing is, you kena use all the senses in order for you to triangulate. Kata setakat tengok je tak cukup, kena rasa, you know, kena pegang, tengok situation tu. So this is what they are promoting. The foundation is the same, yeah, based on reality. However, Lansted, Oliver Corona dengan Ross is slightly different in their own approach, but still on the basis of reality. Oh, excuse me. Soalan?
Sir, tadi ada orang nak masuk.
Oh, ya ke? Sorry. Alright. Soalan? You all akan jadi orang important. Jangan buat benda-benda blunder. Based on reality. Jangan based on what you think. Banyak things that is being done is based on what they think.
Ya, so for example yang apa tutup kedai pukul 8 tu, how about the ones yang balik kerja lambat? Macam mana dia nak beli makanan?
You expect burger start pukul berapa?
Apa sir?
You start burger start pukul berapa?
Burger malam lah, saya tak sure lah start pukul berapa, tapi they close really late at night.
Pukul 8 nak suruh dia orang nak cari makan apa? Yang orang nasi, buat nasi lemak apa semua, by 8 o'clock orang dah masuk office lah. Pukul 8 baru boleh buka.
Out of touch with reality, sir.
Itu yang saya minta you all, jangan jadi macam ni. You all akan jadi orang-orang yang berkuasa, orang yang influence, you know, you are going to be very, very important people. So please do not do all this kind of thing based on reality. Contoh, saya menyampah dengan keadaan Selangor gitu. Maka dulu kata janji, oh anyone can open up the stalls in order for them to survive. You know, not because of COVID lah, because of before this memang the promotion of everything goes lah, anything goes as long as you are prospering, you know, ada income, boleh buat niaga kat mana-mana. Tapi but the majlis keep on tahan, saman, tarik, you know, rampas. You say something but you are not doing the practical sense of your enforcers. You know, your enforcers should allow these businesses to go on. Now the question of oh dia buat kotor, dia buat tak hygienic, you can control that. You can control by virtue of you nak buka, tak kisah. Dia nak letak kat tepi jalan, make sure you register this place. Kalau nampak satu kotor, lepas you buat berniaga, nanti kami buat inspection, kami saman you. Rather than I tak kira apa bisnes you buat ke, cantik ke, bersih ke, kemas ke, hygienik ke, saman. Sebab apa? Tak ada lesen, tempat tak not registered to be open for businesses. I mean, when I went to Thailand, everyone is opening up their own businesses everywhere. You know, nak makan, food store. As long as you are able to provide good food, hygienic, and then you are clean, then is that the standard that we have to maintain rather than tak kira, ini bukan lot yang telah dilaksanakan, you kena bagi license, tak payah minta license pun, you know, register and then you know where they are. These are the things that you know can think of lah.
But so I feel like the laws that are made here are not based on reality. Betul ke?
Betul. No, you be the decision maker. Bila masa you tengok apa-apa mulai daripada hari ni, tengok benda, you tanya diri you, are they basing it on practicality, on reality, or are they thinking about it? I used to have my nephew that is in the meeting whether nak naikkan subsidi or tak by the government. Ini memang dalam not supposed to share this. But the thing is dia dalam meeting untuk nak naikkan, so representative from all these oil companies, they were there. They were you tahu the decision to make up that nak reduce the subsidy. Kita ambil example, panggil staff seorang ni, kita tanya dia macam mana dia pakai kereta apa, based on kereta apa, then kita buat decision based on that particular person. Is it something that is good based on practicality? You answer, kan? It is something that is not being done. Yalah, makan masa lah nak buat benda ni. Tak apalah nak buat benda yang betul, kan? Memang makan masa.
But I feel like they always rush into everything, like the laws that they make here. Macam they didn't like do thorough research on like the reality of people, like cutting down the public transportation, so end up macam cause congestion juga. So macam mana nak curb the situation kalau macam tu?
Dia sekejap kalau you tak buat di benda tu based on something that is proven, something that is on reality, dia akan sekejap you ubah, sekejap you ubah. You are unsure of yourself. You know, shut down the whole country for what we have done in the first place. Kenapa tak boleh buat? Dulu we went to one single digit, kan? Tapi ini overseas people are allowed to come in. You know, the variants yang lain-lain tu dah masuk ke Malaysia. Macam mana dia terbang masuk ke?
They said it's for the economy to keep on running. So
itu masalah. The economy to keep on running at the the risk of our lives, our inconvenience. Businesses in Malaysia is closing down. Oh, you tak boleh kata kita jaga yang besar-besar tu. Yang kecil-kecil nak buat macam mana, they have to survive. Come on man. That has to be done. We have done it before. Ya, 2 minggu je. You know. Tapi kenapa tak dibuat? You always want to do it in another way yang that is not proven. You know. It is not successful. Why? Because the numbers talks. You know. Number talks. The facts talks. It is every day is a record. A new record every day. Meaning you are doing something wrong. Meaning the regulation and the law that you come up with is something wrong. Otherwise, it has to produce good result. So you guys later on in life, you should be able to do something based on reality, based on things that you know that is facts. And you know means you experience it. At the Hegelstorm kata, we are to be based on the reality of things. How do you know what is real, what is not? Go and see, go and experience it. Once you experience it, then only you know. Yang LRT bertembung tu kan, that is only one problem that they are facing. There are so many problems. Kenapa LRT tak ditambah? Kenapa what you call it before COVID lah kenapa ada sexual abuse, you know, in LRT? Kenapa ada theft? Kenapa ada unhygienic punya behavior that is continuing within orang ludah macam tu je, you know. Meaning there is something wrong. You know, kalau you tengok Oliver Prona, you are enforced, you are the monopolized person in that transportation mode. Then you are supposed to take care of every aspect. Just because you ada kat situ nak just to be in the position sebagai chairman ke siapa ke, you have failed. Kalau you tak nak buat kerja, jangan duduk situ pun. Because this is just one example of the accident yang LRT. Tak boleh. How can that happen? No, that magnitude kata, things happen, accident happen. No. Jepun, Shenzhen punya the bullet train, tak ada accident pun. There are a situation of things that is not. They have maintained that record. Kenapa they maintain that record? Just because the energy that they have into doing what they want to do. Questions? So boleh nampak. Dan macam mana kita nak pakai Lansted? Macam mana kita nak pakai dalam soalan ni? Oh, I'm not showing you the. Am I sharing my present? Macam mana kita nak tengok ni? Kita nak pakai 3 orang. Gemak rempis punya problem.
Tadi tu kita look at like the reality and also the force that has been yang ada tapi macam dah monopolize macam tu je.
Dalam soalan ni macam mana kita nak apply? Tadi is theory, is just talking, you know. Now we want to apply to the mat rempit punya situation. Nampak? Understanding is one thing, application, applying it is different. Mana? So ada 3 orang nak apply. Kita nak apply siapa dulu? Kalau kita ambil seorang-seorang. Apply Lansted dulu. Macam mana? Apa yang nampak? So apa yang nak advise dekat Rafiki dengan Huzain?
That they should make realistic legal analysis.
Okay. Tapi dari segi Landstat dia nak apa? For everyone yang baru masuk tu, Hagerstorm introduce nasi. Analogy dia. Hagerstorm introduce nasi. Is a food. So, tiga orang ni, Landstat, Ross dengan Oliver Corona have their own different way of to eat the nasi. Not raw. But Landstat mungkin nasi goreng, iaitu Oliver Corona nasi dagang, and Ross nasi impit. It is based on nasi. Okay, so the same thing, based on reality. Empat orang ni memang based on reality. Okay, so but they are different in their own way. Landstat, Oliver Corona dengan Ross. So Landstat dia punya different macam mana? Apa keyword dia? Law is to be used as a tools for, kan ada kat sini kan? Apa keyword kat sini?
Social welfare.
Social
Very
welfare.
good. Okay. Kalau balik pada social welfare, ingat keyword dipegang kat situ, social welfare. Apply to the problem.
Kena cakap yang apa ni, punishment diorang ni tak setimpal dengan apa diorang buat.
Ingat, based on reality. Ingat Hagerstorm plus Landstat. Landstat, social welfare. Oliver Corona, reality. So macam mana kita nak solve mak rempit? Oh, ada orang nak masuk. Sorry. Macam mana?
Kena tengok social welfare diorang ke sir?
Okay, good. Social welfare, okay. Social welfare siapa? Dia orang tu siapa?
Mak rempit.
Mak rempit. Maybe because of the social welfare of mak rempit yang tak di take into consideration is the one that causing them to merempit. Orang buat benda yang salah, benda yang ni, dia because ada reason. You know, you do things because of reason. Something happen, something that you're running out from. It's a illness, you know, sickness. So sickness tu mesti ada cause. Mesti ada punca kepada sickness tu or illness tu yang you duk buat.
Maybe it's a psychological effect by their parents ke, abandonment ke, abuse ke, macam tu.
Jadi kita investigate baru kita nampak. Bila kita nampak, bukan kita nak tackle semua everyone, you know, everyone is different kan. Tapi kita generalize lah. Kalau generally they are victims of their, you know, unhappiness with the family members. You know, it can be divided into various roots. Tapi macam mana kita nak tackle that? We have to make sure that other laws to be utilized to take effect to these people punya advantage from the Ministry of Home or Ministry of Home, Ministry of Human Affairs ataupun Ministry of Family punya.
Sir, kat soalan ni pun kena mention sir pasal
kena.
ministries that are involved.
Yes. Because you have to be realistic. Because that is based on the experience that you discover. If it's needed for other agencies ataupun other ministries to be, you know, to be involved. Kalau dia tak buat, the Road Transport Act tu dia akan berubah tapi does not translate to effective eradication of mak rempit. You duk pakai juga dengan pisau tu tak tajam, macam mana you macam you boleh potong apa saja pun tak boleh juga. You kena tajamkan, you kena ambil benda batu tajam tu untuk tajamkan pisau tu. So you have to have some other agencies ataupun ministries to help. So this is the reality that you have to talk to Rafiki and Huzair. If you guys are going along this Road Transport punya Act amendment, sorry to say, it will be forever like this. You can increase the penalty, it will not resolve. What you have to do, Rafiki and Huzair, is to go down and look at the Marabit experience with yourself. Then you understand how to create a law with the changes in road transport. If you are within, if you can allow changes to be done on road transport amendment sahaja, enough to tackle that problem, then it's good. But if you discover the reality of what they are facing is bigger than what you can handle, then you have to call other ministries to make changes in a concerted manner. Barulah boleh jalan benda ni. You nak eradicate the problem of mak rempit. You nak reduce the public nuisance that they are creating to the society. You are trying to reduce the immoral activities of what when they do, they orang akan ada isap ganja, ada apa, bocan lah, boh apa semua, you know, prostitution, lesbianism, or gay ke whatever activities yang immoral, you know, isap okok dah memang biasa lah. Judi ke, you know, memang mak rempit kalau you go and be with them, you tengok dia rempit. Takkan rempit kosong kot, you know, apa abuannya, ni aku bagi girlfriend aku, kau bagi, you know, as pertaruhan. Siapa menang dapat dia, itu semalam. You know, those kind of thing, that is, kalau tanya setengah orang yang tak tahu. Not to say that I'm rempit, you know, but I heard about it. But hearing is not good enough. You have to go down and experience it, looking at it, you know. Now, macam mana that is the thing that Rafiki and Huzair was asked to do, to create a proposal for amendment. So you Rafiki and Huzair have to be practical people, have to be realistic people. This whatever we change, boss, it's not going to happen. Why? Because we went down, we discovered this, in order for us to really tackle this problem. You know, in next 10 years, it will be reduced to maybe a minority. This is the method that you need to do. Changes to the road transport, this is the scope. But other laws that is needed for changes to happen also has to be taken into consideration.
Saya ada soalan. Kenapa one of like the Scandinavian jurist Alf Ross ni, he disagreed with the concept about everyone has a right to have a different preference or make different choices? Isn't that goes against macam what we actually macam perceive in reality?
Ross kata macam mana? What do you understand about Ross?
Dia kata macam experiences and guideline lah kat situ. Lepas tu macam kalau ada apa law tapi macam tak digunakan, macam the law is not useful lah, macam tu.
Because you allow people to have different opinion. Liberal punya approach towards something, it is not it's good initially, but it will end up into something that is worse for the society to handle. So what you need to do.
Example tu saya tak faham on like
example ni. Okay, kalau you tengok mazhab berbeza, ya. Rasulullah tak pernah ada mazhab. But you in order for you to control the society, you ada acknowledgement of mazhab differences. Now Sunni and Wahhabi, Sunni and Shia, between Sunni we have 4 groups, right? Trying to dominate the society. You know, everyone is within the mazhab wants to dominate the other in order for them to be in control. Domination is something that is not good. Why? Because Rasulullah did not promote mazhab. Okay, tak ada mazhab dalam zaman Rasulullah. Kenapa kita kena ada mazhab? It's just a matter of different opinion. Kenapa kita nak jadikan mazhab in a way that I belong to this, do you belong to that? No, because it will end up between I am right, you are wrong. Now, when I am right, you are wrong, you will lead to war, civil war, or war between countries. Now we have the crusades between the Muslim and the Christian. It is basically a different opinion. No, I'm right, you are right. You are wrong. You know, both parties are saying that they are right, and one lead to another. You go to war, and when you come to war, nothing fruitful happens from war. People will die. You know, destroyed. People, civilization is lost because of that. You know, and the war will never stop because you kalah hari ni, you nak menang. It's just about winning the fight. It's no longer about the truth. So if you allow that to happen, for people to allow to decide which one is right, which one is wrong, it's never ending story. What he is proposing is that the law has to really put its foundation into the society in a way that they are basing on the reality of the situation. Okay, jangan bagi avenue for people to decide otherwise. Then
So isn't it macam kita kena tanya juga orang kalau nak tahu the reality?
yes. Meaning if you know the situation sekarang ni macam ni, katalah orang sekarang tak faham mazhab tu tak sepatutnya ada dalam Islam. Kenapa nak kena adakan mazhab? Kenapa duk berkelahi, bertekak based on mazhab? It should not happen at all. Kenapa nak kena tunjuk kata between Christian and Muslim, I have nak keluar debate? There is no, Nabi tak suruh debate pun. Kenapa nak kena debate? Kenapa nak tunjuk kata you have a better religion than the other? Why not Christian? Jom kita duduk, kita bincang macam mana kita nak settle masalah orang miskin ni. You punya cadangan macam mana? Kita gunakan kita punya church, kita punya masjid untuk kita bagi makan nak. Duit macam mana kita nak itu yang sepatutnya kita duduk bincang, bukannya duduk kata aku ada Quran aku bagus daripada engkau. Aduh. Sampai bila nak settle-nya?
Oh, it's about yang macam ni lah, benda yang tak ada ending conclusion because memang both parties believe in different things macam tu.
Yes, we believe in different things that we interpret, and you allow those people in the society to differentiate. It will lead to a negative outcome. What you need to do is to take into control, and how do you be in control is based on the reality that you have, and it has to be in terms of legal politics. You know that the executive, they would interpret in force or in a apa dia kata, yang cakap gitu apa dia dalam video tu, ada force and in a manner that is going kita ambil macam ni lah, in a negative or positive punya manner. Positive and negative is based on interpretation. So you think that is right, but it's right in your own opinion. Now, what we have to do is to get the parliament to be able to function in order for them to do their legal politics. You know, legal politics should happen in the legislative rather than executive. It is not, kan kita separation of power, judiciary, executive dengan legislative. Now he is promoting on the legislative punya activity. You know, legal politics should happen because all this, when you talk about politics, is a manner of control over the other party punya opinion. That is what politics means. You know, politicians are those politicians. We are looking at the executive politicians. And also legislators, they are politicians because we appoint them to be our representative to talk our issues in parliament. So if you have this current situation of emergency, there is no parliament, then Ross kalau tengok ni, Ross kata gila ke apa? You know, because it is not something that is happening. As what he is proposing, because he wants legal politics is to be run in the parliament, whereby everyone is able to do their part. The opposition, you know, not happy with the way that is being done, by the executive right now about COVID punya handling macam mana. They can always bring it into the parliament and discuss these things over and pressure. Kalau tak kata dalam parliament pun sekarang, mungkin dekat outside parliament, they as a representative of their society that they represent can buat petition ke, can buat some action, to show to show the government that they are not doing what they are supposed to do. Now kita duk tengok banyak orang netizen saja yang kita duk harapkan, because tak ada representative. Our representative that we elect to represent us in parliament is no longer there because parliament is no longer in existence. Siapa yang jadi kita punya ketua sekarang? Kita punya ketua is the mass media. Mass media jadi the one that is able to attack, check and balance the government. Itu kalau dia realize that this is the, tak boleh jadi ni, kita kena tutup mass media ni, dia akan jadi China. China memang dia orang control the mass media and then they control everything.
Tapi kat sini pun ada lah juga control, tapi sikit je lah. Let's say like issues of fake news are still running around lah. That's one thing I see that they don't have control over.
So what fake news is something that everyone else under their own duty is to validate whether it is real or not before they pass it over lah kan. When it's fake, then there are group of people that to show that it is different than what it is. Baru ni tak tahulah betul ke tak, saya just cakap je lah kan, for you to investigate. Betul ke Muhyiddin dia bila buat live interview tu dia orang tangkap dia punya wash. It's like 2 hours different from the session that is being recorded. Takkan dia nak pakai jam mati je. Wallahualam. So when things are not running as what the reality is asking us to do, we have to respond. You are going to be, as I mentioned, you are going to be important people. So obviously you have to do it in a proper manner. So kalau macam ni macam mana? Macam ni macam mana? Dia nak pakai ROS. Ingat, kita faham tapi mungkin nak apply tu susah sikit lah. Tak apa lah. Practice make perfect. Macam mana the rest?
Bukan saya cakap macam kalau nak apply RAS ni kita fokus more on the legislators saja.
Yes, very good. So legal politics meaning something that they can suggest the options. Dia bukan bagi some what do you call it, one solution. Ini bukan bagi solution, bagi suggestion. Kalau bagi suggestion, it is up to the parliament to decide which one is the best. Kalau dalam bentuk bill ni is very straightforward. This is what the bill is proposing. Memang ada macam standard lah. You cannot you can change tapi change only minority element of that bill. Bukannya either you accept or reject, or if you want to amend, you amend sikit lah. Tapi dia tak bagi dalam bentuk recommendation. Recommendation 1, recommendation 2, recommendation. Ada option, 3 things different, or maybe 5 different route that you can choose. So you boleh bagi macam tu untuk dia orang yang actively decide, bukan yang berkelahi nak menjahanamkan orang satu sama lain in terms of nak pelekehkan opposition, but you really sit down and discuss this issue, which route yang kita nak ambil. So the role of Rafiki and Huza is to be in that manner, because you have to highlight to the Attorney General the approach. Tapi Attorney General kalau dia jenis bosses yang memang kata I don't care, I want you to do in this way, then Scandinavian realism tak boleh masuk. Dia boleh kata macam tu lah. If you don't follow Scandinavian realism punya approach, because of the boss doesn't want to adopt or accept that approach, then apa yang Ross kata cannot be effective lah. You don't allow legislators to sit down and play their role. Kalau
Sir.
yes, faham legislator pun selama ni jadi stamping pad je. They don't know what is happening pun.
And then what, are they supposed to be wakil rakyat? They should have known like what rakyat punya struggles.
Bila yang dia jumpa rakyatnya?
Jumpa masa nak JA lah sir.
You nak tengok orang yang saya respect sebagai pemimpin yang yang betul-betul sayang rakyat, Tun Razak. Oh, memang I respect gila dia. When I was small, he goes to places really concerned about the well-being of the masyarakat. Pada saya, he's a very good leader. No wonder they wanted anak dia naik, tapi anak dia jadi kot lain. Anak dia baik, cuma saya rasa bini dia kot yang masalah tu. Okay. Once you are in that family upbringing, insyaAllah bapa baik memang keturunan pun baik lah. Cuma the sideline lah. Sayang. Tapi memang I respect. Bila dia meninggal, ramai orang menangis. Memanglah jarang kita tengok pemimpin negara yang mati. Siapa lagi nak Usi On? Usi On meninggal tak berapa sangat. Lepas dia tak sempat buat impact. Tun Razak memang dahsyat. Memang very powerful. Dia pergi ke kampung, dia pergi discuss, masuk ke, try to find ways. And then dia gunakan the parliament lah to discuss and things. Tapi kalau Oliver Crowner memang nampak Tun Razak lah, senang is one example. You really hold on to your monopoly as a leader in order for you to bring society forward. Ada orang tanya ke? Ada bunyi tu. Right. So, kalau tak ada soalan, then thank you very much for coming to class. Those who wants to stay can stay on because we have another class to go to. And it is being recorded and I'll pass it over to you later on. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Assalamualaikum. Bye guys.
Waalaikumsalam, sir.
Okay, shall we start? Do you need some clarification? We can go that with half an hour of our session in order for you to get some clarification about what we have done this morning. Anyone who wants to ask question about which slide? About which bridge? We have three of them: Landstep, Oliver Prona, and Ross. Any clarification that needs to be done? Ada soalan? Yeah guys. Ada? I don't like to ask question. I can pinpoint people and ask them question. But that is not my nature. Jadi tak nak tanya soalan. I under the impression that you understand lah. Tak ada?
Ada sir. Kejap sir.
Sir,
Yes. Aisyah.
sorry, yes. Do you mind to explain further regarding Afros punya principle, which is there is no special position to give in respect of law? I
Mana?
macam tak faham. Ini macam tak ada hierarchy ke macam mana?
Law is something that is able to change things kan, based on reality. Based on reality kan, setakat the Hagerstorm is the foundation of all these three, so they believe in Hagerstorm. So Hagerstorm plus Ross. So apa yang Ross nak? Changes made to the law kan. So law has to play a active role. Betul tak? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Law, does it play a major role?
Yes.
The law is not being given a validity in terms of their special position. Why? Because everyone is interpreting based on their own. Nampak tak? Have different preferences or different choices that they want to do. Everyone has their own way of interpreting things. It's not about the law, it is about how they think it is. Boleh nampak itu? Is it a reality?
Sorry, saya still tak nampak.
Kita letak practicality ya. Let's look at an example. Position of restriction, PK ni kan, restriction that you have to stay at home. Do you have opinion whereby ataupun situation whereby other people can avoid the restriction orders? Ada ke tak?
Tak ada.
Ha?
Ya.
Betul?
Ada.
Restriction.
Ada.
Yang artis tu selamba boleh pergi sana sini, and then the politician sana sini, you know, if it's not because of them yang buat Sabah punya election tu, kita tak ada lah macam sekarang ni. DB were handling at single digit ni. So the thing is that tak apa, kita balik daripada overseas tak payah nak quarantine. You know, what statement, tak tahulah what is the mental mind of those people when they say they come up with rules just because we are orang kayangan, and then therefore what we say, what we do is okay, should be okay. The one that is in the public, you don't know anything, you just keep quiet and be in your house while we are suffering. Those people yang kena buang kerja because company cannot continue with the situation. US has done drastically in terms of COVID. Just to share with you discussion dalam family vessel I came across this now. Ada. Ni dekat New York dah relax lah. Cases January 2nd, May 19. Why? Why? Because they ensure vaccination. Why it is not happening dekat Malaysia? Why? Jangan kita kena tanya why. Bila kita tanya why, then you talk about the position of the law. Because law is supposed to be the guidance, the guidance of what we do. Because we cannot do anything because we don't have the authority to do so. Kita dah belajar the concept of ultravirus. You cannot do things that is beyond your power that is given by the law. So everyone is going along the line that we don't need the law. We can interpret it using our own interpretation. Nak pakai mask, tak pakai, nak pergi sana boleh, things like that. Setengah orang kena saman, setengah orang tak kena saman. What is the law then? What's the point of having the law in the first place? Tak ada validity towards the law. Tak ada position, special position that the law is having over the society. So what's the point of following the law? Me and my wife dah rasa menyampah dah mengajar undang-undang ni jadi macam seolah-olah melepas batuk di tangga je. You know, teaching you something that is theory, not practical. Practical does not happen. So what's the point? So Ross is saying that this is the position, that people are not looking at the law. It's supposed to be that position that you have to mandate the law. Because if you allow things to happen, if people will interpret in a very descriptive ataupun in their own interpretation. So we have an example here: Sunni and Wahhabi fighting. Fighting, yeah, it started with verbal differences, then it will lead to war, it will lead to civil, it will lead to discrimination. That is not good for the society. Why? Because the law failed. Why? Because the law is not able to handle the position that it needs to handle. Law is to be the guidance, the guiding lamp, guiding lamp. But it is not. Dia cuma lampu kecil, lilin je. It's supposed to be lampu torchlight yang menyuluh jalan. You know, because kalau we suluh lampu, you nampak satu je direction. And that is the way that everyone have to identify. So kalau semua orang dapat torchlight yang sama, everyone have their own interpretation of things that needs to be done. Analogy je lah, you know. Kristian kata Islam agama tak betul, Yahudi kata Islam agama tak betul, Islam kata kami agama betul. Letih, you know. The law should be in a position that restrict or be able to give guidance, and the guidance that we need to do is coming from the legal politics, meaning the parliament is the one that needs to give the proper guidance for the society in order for them to belakang tu yang belakang pipe tak basuh je. So that is the role of the law, which is not happening lah. Because legal politics is being done in the parliament. We don't have parliament. Ross kalau tengok sini dia tepuk dahi, dia kata ya Allah, macam mana ni tak ada parliament. If there is no parliament, macam mana politician are to play their politics? Kalau we have politician that is executive, so they will play their politics lah in positive or negative manner, kan? So if they can play positive and negative, no check and balance. It is something that is need to be in a proper platform whereby any activities is being taken, is being tabled in the parliament in order for the opposition to raise up concern, you know. So those, because member of parliament, kita member of parliament, they are our representative. So any problem that we face will be brought to them. Whether they do their job or not, that's another issue. So if we were to raise an issue brought to the parliament, if you are the you don't trust the government, you trust the opposition to highlight certain factors. Now I want to share with you. I used to be with friends that works in Times Publishing years ago, I think 30 years ago. Waktu tu bujang, I dropped by to this group of people staying in rumah bujang, you know, chit-chatting, enjoying ourselves, you know. And then one day this particular guy bawa balik, you know, buku-buku kanak-kanak, buku kanak-kanak published by Time Publishing. So bila bawa ke Time Publishing, dia suruh tengok buku-buku ni macam mana. So masa buka tengok, buku agama bagus, tengok betul-betul. Tengok betul-betul. Ini bahasa Melayu Malaysia, tapi content dia about Christianity. There is no indication that is about Christianity. You know, how come okay lah, whatever berita publishing, Time Publishing wants to do to print whatever buku-buku yang dia nak, it's up to them. You know, freedom of printing and things like that. But the problem is when the investor of Time Publishing is Tabung Haji. How can Tabung Haji invested in a company that is promoting Christianity in producing books that is in Bahasa Malaysia, you know, Bahasa Malaysia, and promoting Christianity. I'm not against Christianity, but the moment that you invest in Tabung Haji should know where they invest their money. When I realized that, I call up PAS punya representative MP, and he was brought into parliament. It's been highlighted. Then baru kalang kelibut, you know, tarik balik investment of Tabung Haji from Time Publishing. So what I'm trying to say here is that it has to be done by legislative, meaning from the parliament itself, the institution itself has to be actively doing the job. So things can be, kalau sekarang ni tak ada opposition, tak ada parliament, people are only relying on the pressure of mass media. Itu je. The pressure of mass media is only our hope. Itu pun setakat kerajaan kalau dia dok bagi, dia rasa they are attacking us using the mass media, so sooner or later they will curb the mass media in order to create fear for people to be able to raise certain issues pertaining to just what I shown you about COVID punya move. They are very very aggressive. Now why we are not aggressive? Why we have only one certain centers when it is not about illness? You know, it is about vaksin. Vaksin tak perlu ada institution macam tu nak kena buat. It can be delivered to all over the institution dalam Malaysia ni. Kalau kita ada clinics, within 30 days we can vaccinate 2/3 of our population within a month. Within a month. Can you do that? Maybe you create a tunnel punya situation, everyone have to go through that tunnel. Dah jadi injustice lah. Why injustice? Because some dapat, some tak dapat, and then siapa yang dulu tak dapat, yang di belakang dapat, orang yang ada kena mengena dengan hospitals, doctors dapat, you know, because the dosage has to be spent within several hours. They will tend to call their family members in order for tak ada dalam list. The law is law. Law is law when law is very clear on who is getting the vaccine first. Just because you duduk, you argument kata, saya doktor, jadi isi saya kena vaksin juga. No, should not be. Law is clear. This is the recognition that is not given to the law. Law has to be in a position that it is to be a guidance for the society. If we don't follow, that's it. Orang kata tak boleh balik kampung. Oh, ada yang balik kampung juga. Dan ada orang yang tak balik kampung ni macam mana? Marah gila. I pun nak balik kampung. So kita push ourselves to stay home because we want to respect the law. But there are people who doesn't respect the law. So law is meaningless. So this is where the thing is that the pressure is not being handled properly by legal politics that is being mentioned by Afros. Nampak, guys? Soalan? Amy? Orang lain susah sikit nak tanya soalan.
Nampak saya nampak.
Okay, kalau kita tengok Unstead Oliver Corona bukan dia nak promote kata dictatorship. You have to understand, kita ni ada banyak jenis sistem dalam dunia ni, demokrasi, republik, monarki, communism, dictatorship. It depends on whoever is the leader. So kalau sistem yang dipakai, kita tak boleh allow different opinion in terms of people interpretation. If you allow that, they have so many interpretation and things cannot happen. Yes. Soalan?
Chanasa. I think there's a mistake of why people misunderstood Oliver Corona is because I think he want to promote something that doesn't really attach to something. So that
it's based on reality.
Yeah. So that's mean that it doesn't hang on an ideology. Like macam contoh, if we look on the African state, like macam Idi Amin, his ideology is kind of really dangerous because it's borderline to straight tyranny. And you have like like if you look to the older example like Napoleon, like he have this ideology of trying to conquer all the world. So that means that people want to believe that kind of system. But the problem is that I think Oliver Corona, why people doesn't understand it, is that he's trying to fact check the reality. He's trying to promote something that is real, that you cannot see it, but instead you have to experience it in yourself. So if you are trying to, what happened with Oliver Corona theory is that people doesn't understand it pretty much because people are used to stick to one things, like macam if we took example with orang Malaysia, with orang Melayu contoh, we stick to Islamic religion and then you stick to it until you die. But Oliver Corona trying to propose to us that there's something beyond that kind of thing. Yes, something bigger than that. And then if you will look example with the native people in Sabah and Sarawak, I want to pick some example that is closer to my home. Right now, if I see we celebrate the festive, the Kamatan Day kan.
Yes.
And then the problem is that if we apply to the current situation, should we celebrate it or not? Of course, they will try to celebrate it because that's what they hope after a long time of years they're living off. Because that's their culture. They're trying to hold on that value. But if you're trying to come out for the better solution, that is Oliver Corona solution, he's trying to do good thing. That means that we cannot celebrate Hari Kamatan because it will doom us. That means that the COVID-19 will spread very fast. And because of that, Oliver Corona's theory has been labeled as a bad guy theory.
If
it
you look at
follows.
India, right, the festive season, for those Muslim tak boleh pergi semayang, you know, if you are very strict Islamic punya perspective, you know, and you say no, it's wrong, you have to go and solat. Allah don't need us to solat, you know. Allah don't need us to solat. You know, your salat is nothing to him. He is so powerful, he's so great, you know. You are nothing. You pray or not is nothing to him. He is in the position of superiority. But he asks us to salat because he wants us to submit yourself to him. But in the position that you are unable to secure your health, that would be stupid for you to sacrifice yourself in order for you to. That is very. I mean, if he were to be able to say something, he would say, awak lah bodoh sangat, dia nak kena pergi semayang, I don't need you. But in the situation where I want you to solat, if you cannot solat, then go and solat at your home. You know, be practical, be realistic about the situation. And if you look at the reality and the realism of the situation, the practicality, then you see why. So coming back to, very good, Helmi, that is the situation. What is your advice then to give to Rifki and Huzair regarding Oliver Corona?
I think for me, if I was put in their shoes, I have to go realistic. I have to become much more empirical, and I have to become. I have to use my vision so that I can see everything.
How? Oliver Corona dia punya keyword siapa?
I think it's the keyword would be. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's we call it
Monopolize.
Apa sih?
You are supposed to be in a monopoly. You have to be in power. You have to be in control. That is what he is promoting.
Yes.
So monopoly is one thing that you have to be in the position. So coming back to this, you have to monopolize the situation. Monopolizing means you are in control of every aspect of the problem. So if you were to only comment on amendments to be made to RTA, the New Road Transport Act, based on the reality or based on the experience that you discovered with the Mat Rempit, then you have to change the RTA accordingly. However, if you discover that changes not only to be made to RTA but made to other acts that is relevant to Mat Rempit, then you have to ask for help from other agencies or help from amendment to other agencies. So you can report back to your boss and saying that, boss, upon our Scandinavian realist approach, we discovered that there are so many things that we in RTA, we cannot change the amendment in RTA alone. We have to change on other acts also in order to make it sense, to make it practical, to make it realistic to the problem of Mat Rempit in Malaysia. So it is a concerted punya effort taken towards that particular problem. So you kena bagi in that position. Kata in advising Rafiki and Huzair, if they were to go down and meet the Mat Rempit to investigate, to make it to materialize the realistic of the situation. Upon discovering all this information, what they need to do, if they were to make amendments that is able for them to do to RTA, and if RTA amendment alone can change the problem, then they have to proceed. However, if they discover that the problem is bigger than the ability of RTA to regulate the problem, then they have to ask for other amendment to other acts to be done in order to have a concerted what they call it, action towards the problem of mat rempit. Boleh nampak tak how you sentence your words in exam, in answering. So if you are not able to do the application, then you just simply trying to elaborate the idea of juries. It's not enough. It is about the application to the problem. Boleh nampak guys? Oh tak nampak. Lagi tak nampak.
Boleh
Siapa?
sir, boleh.
Lagi siapa? Yang lain?
Sir,
Ini ya.
For slide 58 under Alf Ross,
Yes.
what does scientifically based practical activity means?
Scientific means you go on evidence based.
Oh, okay.
Kan? Dan kita orang selalu tak tengok kita as scientist. Kita ni legal scientist, you know. The legal scientist is based on evidence, and then obviously scientist dia kata, nama the word science itself is knowledge. Science pada definition itself.
So will it be data, sir? Will it be data?
Yes. Data and evidence. Evidence mean data lah kan. Yes, the word science itself is about knowledge. No? So if you talk about scientific base, it is based on data that is practical in nature. Nampak tak? So kita data, kadang-kadang orang ambil juga data daripada survey, as I already mentioned kan. Scientifically approved method is a survey. Survey buat ataupun kita buat referendum. You know, referendum dengan survey, it is a scientific method. Tapi it must have the practical science of practical activity based on practical activity. Practical activity bukannya dia orang the fact that dia orang pergi buat survey tu sendiri, bukannya ada-adakan data, but they really go to the ground. Ethnography, as already mentioned to you kan, you kena pergi duduk. So legal politics, the legislators, what they need to do is member of parliament sebagai wakil rakyat, dia kena turun pandang. Dia kena pergi duduk dengan rakyat yang dia wakil. You know, you cannot be only once a blue moon sahaja you pergi melawat. You kena jadi macam Tun Razak. You pergi sebagai Perdana Menteri, you go down to the rural areas, investigate. You kena jadi macam King Bhumipol. King Bhumipol you tahu kan? You go online, cari Bhumipol, tengok dia orang tanpa sayang dia. Because that leader goes to ground. You know, Tun Razak goes to ground in order for them to gather the practical sense of their policy that they're creating. So it has to be scientifically proven, data that is being proven. Data or evidence lah. Kita lebih kepada evidence. So, siapa yang boleh buat benda ni? Legal politics. Legal politics ni adalah siapa ni? Politician yang duduk dalam parlimen lah. If every one of them play their role, waktu parliament sitting, tak ada yang kosong kerusi, sepatutnya penuh. We are giving them salary for them to attend their job in parliament. So kalau you tak pergi, orang lain kalau tak pergi kena show cause letter, kena buang kerja. Kena datang lewat, kena keluarkan surat tunjuk sebab. You know, be it in government or private sector. Dia orang ni kita bagi gaji, dia orang dapat gaji monthly, right? So kenapa pula dia orang tak pergi ke parlimen on the day that the parliament is sitting? Oh, dia ada kerja. Tak ada alasan. You kena kerja you dekat parlimen. You are to be there to listen to the problem of the society and raise the problem of the society in the parliament. And then sekarang pula parlimen dah online. Ada yang orang kata, oh bagus representative ni. Dia pergi, dia highlight the problem that is coming from the society. Because we as the people who appoint that person have the right to access our members of parliament. Kata dia, I'm not happy with this. I want you to talk this particular problem in parliament. Raise it up. Baru you buat your legal politics, because everything that you do in parliament is protected, because whatever you want to find the truth is there. Kalau kat luar, then you are exposing to liability, summon, defamation, defamatory punya action. It has to be in a proper institution. Itu yang Ross trying to promote, which is sekarang tak ideal lah because kita under emergency. How to have MPs in the opposition to make noise other than that of the mass media. Bagilah sebulan untuk medical untuk semua orang panggil ni hospitals ke klinik, klinik reputable klinik ke apa ke, can administer the vaccine, make it faster, and then people have to queue up because as long as the queuing up is you have queuing up, the problem of COVID, they are suffering, and then the spreading of the COVID, and then death. Why you have to juggle with people punya life? The objective is to have herd community, right? So kenapa pula nak kena, tak boleh, kita kena ada satu company sahaja, kita kena ada several center sahaja. Doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. Why? Because you don't allow people to comment, you don't allow our politician to play their role. Kalau kita nampak Ross, yang ni Ross lah kan, kalau kita tengok Oliver Corona, because you fail to have the psychology impact to the society with regards to the law. Semua orang kata ada law, tapi law yang kita ada belajar daripada kita kecil, obey the law, obey the law, obey the law. Nobody obeys the law of lockdown. People want to go back hometown dekat Terengganu, Pahang, Kelantan. People travel, people avoid guna waste time. Polis kat mana? Kita lari jalan ni. People disrespect, we have artists, we have politicians who doesn't give their respect to the law. They don't care about the law. Just because they are important people in the society, so the law, somebody in the state, whereas the government in control right now, have failed to monopolize the law in order to get that psychological effect effective in addressing COVID. So kalau dalam gambar ni, to address this problem of poverty with these people, fail, If you are really in control, then you should be able to do certain things that is able to uplift their standard of life, way of living, the welfare of the society. Nampak tak? Dia kebanyakannya basing dia kepada welfare, reality is about welfare lah. If you're talking about reality, it's about well-being of the society, rather than relying on theory, idea. Idea, theory doesn't bring food to our table. The thing that is bringing food to our table is the action that you're doing. The action is the one that we want to be able to promote. Okay, soalan? Tak ada soalan, kita end the session lah. Macam mana nak apply lain ni? Nak apply siapa? Oliver Corona dalam cerita ni. Apa Oliver Corona cakap? You need someone that is able to monopolize the state, in the state, where one organization or one institution that is able to monopolize the force of law. Okay, the force of law is something that is psychologically in impact, effective to implement what we want based on reality. Orang bagi contoh di other class, orang Singapura masuk Malaysia, dia bawa laju, dia tak peduli dengan kebersihan, the attitude of Singaporean when they come into Malaysia is different, just because they knew that they can get away from the law enforcement dekat sini. So psychologically it is not it does not have the effect of changing the attitude of people to take care of the environment, to be in safety towards others. I dekat hari tu dekat JB, I nak lintas jalan, I nampak perempuan tu nak lintas jalan, kereta Singapura bawa laju kat tu, hon. I maki kata, weh, tak guna orang ajar kau orang Singapura. Lepas tu dia nak cari pasal. Oh, orang lain semua nak cari pasal dengan dia jugalah. Because I mean, how can you in your country, you ask us to, when you go to into your country, have to abide the law, your law, and then you come to our country, you don't want to obey our law. You know, our law fails to have a psychological impact towards others, or their law fail to have a psychological impact towards their citizens. Tak ada respect langsung. You have to have somebody yang memang kena put it in force. Kena, kalau nak kena saman pemimpin for not adhering to the COVID punya rules, saman, tak kira siapa dia. Okay? Oh, ni tak, nak kena pressure by the public. Kalau public tak pressure, tak payahlah, everything is okay. Orang lain kata, kenapa pula saya nak kena respect the law when others don't respect the law, nak lepas. Orang miskin pun kena saman, orang kaya tak kena saman. Apa jadi ni? What is the law? The purpose is law is to be fair and be able to apply to everyone. But it seems that the law only applies to only the lower part of the society. Then you start to have people to interpret. Don't need to have this law lah. What's the point? You get what I'm trying to say. So you have to advise them and saying that, look, Rafiki and Huzail, make sure that you are able to be in control of the lawmaking. So in order for you to do this, you have to be comprehensive, you have to be be able to monopolize the law to the extent that you change everything with regards to the problem at hand. You nak attack Mak Rempit punya isu tu, tackle betul-betul. Jangan kata you nak pegang, we are the one that create the law, you have to obey the law. But Mak Rempit punya situation is still continuing. You know, the law that you are in control, that you say you are in control, fails to do your job, to do its job. So if the law fails to do its job, you fail as the one that is in control of the law. Because you cannot monopolize. If you can monopolize, you can create situation that is having a psychology impact to the society. Contoh, berapa lama kita nak suruh orang pakai tali pinggang keledar. Sekarang ada yang tak pakai tali pinggang keledar. They use it because they fear that they have towards the law. Force mean is psychological force, bukannya fear of being punished. You know, it has something to do with logic, psychology. Topi keledar, you know, kat Mak Rempit ni suruh dia orang pakai. Nak rempit, pakai topi keledar. That is the requirement. You know, maybe, you know, if you, dia kata dia terpaksa juga nak buat. Jadi kita bagi dia punya means and ways for them to do that. And then regulate lah. So that is from the perspective of Scandinavia. Ada tak soalan ni? Tak ada. Ada tak? Tak ada.
Sir.
Yes, tell me.
Ada orang tanya.
Maybe next time ada orang tanya. Next time kita Helmi je lah my kelas, orang lain semua diam.
Yang itu sir.
Right. Soalan.
Tadi okay. I think what missing is the use of propaganda. Because Oliver Crowder stated that the law has impact on psychological aspect. That means you have to use propaganda itself.
In order for you to create propaganda, you have to have law. You cannot create propaganda, meaning you have to be on the basis of law, kan? You nak buat propaganda macam mana? You have agencies to do the job, right?
Yes.
It's based on workspace. Whether you are legally able to do that propaganda or not. Kalau you nak buat advertisement, who is involved in advertisement?
The media.
The media. Siapa yang control media? Which ministry control media?
The MMC.
MMC ada akta tak?
Not sure, but probably they have.
Ada. Tak ada yang tak ada. No government agencies, no private agencies that doing something without the foundation of the law. So, MMC memang ada law, and that you work within the law that is given to you. So, kalau law tu tak cukup, then you ask AG to increase the empowerment of the authority. Why? You have to tackle the mak rafiqnya problem. Through what? Through propaganda. Through which ministry? The MMC, you know, and then under the provision of the law. So all bottom line is based on law. Ni nak propaganda apa sekalipun, you have to have money, and that money has to justify with Ministry of Finance. Duit nak agih tu kena ada accountability kan. Mana boleh just kita ada secret dark project macam US tu. Tak boleh. Everything has to be accountable. Because if you allow one incident to happen, every project will go underground, under secret budget. Tak boleh. We cannot have secret budget. Tu yang kita nak secret budget. Tak boleh yang buat satu website untuk COVID sampai 70 juta. I mean, aduh, apa yang 70 juta tu. But they are legitimizing their action that they are doing. Nampak? By the law, by the rules, by the authority, by the regulation that they create. Everything must be by virtue of that. So, if you want to monopolize, use the law. And you use the law to the extent that it brings the practical sense of the reality of the situation. Try to change the society based on the ability for you to hold the law. Bukannya hold the law untuk nak promote negativity. Bukan nak suruh buat dictatorship. You know, even dictatorship is, Mahathir pernah cakap, dictatorship is good, but kan dictatorship is bad. It depends on who is the one that is holding dictatorship. Okay, guys, kalau tak ada apa-apa, so I think we end the session.
Okay, sir.
Oh, yang ni semua mengaku. Okay, bye.
Taklah.
Alright lah. So hopefully you are able to answer the exam question when it comes to Scandinavian jurisprudence. InsyaAllah. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, sir. Wassalam.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Assalamualaikum. Thank you. Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir,
Yes, Nazrina.
saya baru terfikir satu soalan.
Yes.
Kalau physical pula, psychological effect tu kiranya anything lah kan? Anything that the government rasa boleh affect the society's psychology, then it let it be it, macam tu. Macam including kalau
nak buat, dia orang nak buat jahat lah, nak buat macam mana kan. Tapi jahat tu lama mana dia orang nak boleh tahan pun, dia akan keluar juga. Kejahatan tu Allah dah janji dah tak akan boleh simpannya.
Kiranya kalau macam contohnya right now kan kita bagi tahu every single day punya data COVID-19 kan untuk macam put a bit of fear in the public lah kan, supaya dia orang make sure take care. So contohlah dalam situasi mak rempit ni, it can be macam every single day police disclose how many people kena saman ke, macam tu boleh ke kira
saman
macam
tak cukup, tak based on reality.
Reality
lah, saman reality lah kan, tapi reality dia macam mana nak that have a psychological impact macam mana. Apa lagi yang you boleh buat? accident, kena tunjuk gambar, kena tunjuk buat tugu kepada motor-motor yang dah hancur.
Tunjuklah motor yang kena ni kan.
Can I add something?
Yes.
Answering her question, I think the strongest propaganda you can have is a writing. I believe it myself. A writing, you spread it anyway. News, the media, social, the newsletter, newspaper. If you invoke a feeling of emotion in human mind, this means that the propaganda is settled down. A writing, I think it's come down to the writing itself. Because if you look about psychological, there is nothing is more appealing other than the emotion itself. I mean, like if you look Nietzsche or something, some sort of like this. If you gaze to the abyss, and it will gaze, and the abyss will gaze you back. That means that if you invoke the feelings so great, that means that it will come back bouncing up to you.
Tapi one thing with our Eastern society, I mean, we are not readers.
Yeah, this is a problem lah, sir.
But I think
kalau
macam tu, it's like the advertisements pasal tak pakai helmet, tak pakai seatbelt. But nowadays saya rasa macam dah tak ada sangat advertisement macam tu.
Kenapa? Duit tak ada?
Duit pergi tempat lain kot sir.
Maksudnya
so,
you
macam tu lah kan sir.
Betul.
Monopolize by the advertisements, tunjuk when you tak pakai topik lidah, you accident, your mom sedih. So, macam tu. Play by emotion.
Yes. And then kalau you nak promote, katalah nak buat satu geng group untuk mak rempit yang telah di-legalize. Maksudnya ada event yang di mana dia orang boleh release their trash. Dekat semua negeri ada. Make it a competition. Make it something that you are able to control that. You monopolize the situation. Kalau you everything that you mak rempit ni dia jadi satu benda yang tak boleh control. Jadi you fail lah. You kena monopolize. Macam mana you nak monopolize? Kena guna psikologi. Nak macam psikologi, kalau you nak merempit juga boleh. Dengan syarat you merempit pada tempat sekian-sekian yang tak ada orang, pada waktu sekian-sekian, dengan assistance of maybe van ambulance ke, you accident kan. You know, somehow or some way or some rather method yang you boleh pakai. Bila buat competition, lagi orang hormat. Tak maulah main tak pakai safety gear. So eventually they akan move towards that. People start to realize. Psychologically they know that not wearing protective dalam motorcycle is something yang not to be laughed upon. Kalau I naik motor, I pakai boots, I pakai pants yang ada knee pad, ada dengan jacket, dengan helmet full face. Because I've seen with my own eyes orang mati kena accident, dia tak pakai full face, dia pakai half face. Half face maksudnya kena betul-betul dekat bucu jalan, darah mengalir macam orang tuang buka pilih air. Because full face dia akan jaga you punya bahagian depan, muka depan ni. Sebab you jatuh ke depan kan. Jatuh ke depan, apa yang ada ke depan tu kena lah muka depan you, bukan jatuh ke belakang sangat.
Betul je.
So jadi bila saya bawa motor, orang ketawa saya, mampu saya tak peduli apa. Because I am psychologically understanding the situation that safety is one thing that I have to make sure in order for me to not kacau orang lain. Not kacau my wife masuk hospital nanti. Kalau jatuh biasa-biasa, okey lah, sakit sikit. Tak adalah kalau without protection you sakit banyak. Jadi itu you all punya kerja nanti satu hari kena be in that position. Make a psychological punya impact based on reality, Jangan fictitiously create psychology. Itu jadi macam komunis pula.
Kayaknya it's not necessarily that we scare them through the law but also macam kita tunjuk kalau kita bagi macam okay, this is the leeway, kalau you nak merempit at this time boleh. So by that kita macam bagi dia orang trust that the law also understands them. Macam tu lah
Ya,
kan.
betul. Macam dalam family, if the parent doesn't trust you, then you always clinging on them. You unable to rationalize things. Because the parents is so orang kata lampau nak control sangat. So it's not good.
Faham.
Faham Alhamdulillah.
Okay,
Good,
thank you
good, good.
sir. Thank you Helmi.
Okay.
Alright, bye-bye.
Right.
Okay, Amy, ada apa-apa?
I think okay, macam mana? Oliver Corona. It's okay, sir. It's okay. I'm just trying to organize my word. Okay. If we look Hegelstorm, his observation of law comes from history, kan, sir?
Betul.
And I realized that I done myself a lot of reading about European history. So that I think where it come from is because people don't learn the reality of the past. That's why people don't understand.
Betul.
So I come to
yang dia orang kata history repeat itself, ya.
Yes, sir. So like macam I found every gist of history in this Scandinavian realism, including American realism. There's always a piece of history on it. So I think I want to share with you, sir.
Yes.
I think probably the biggest influence towards Oliver Corona is Napoleon, Napoleonistic era or Napoleonistic value. Because the truth about monopoly is that you have to become one and only true predecessor of law. So that's mean if you look towards the Napoleonistic era, Napoleon come to the power and then he turned himself into emperor. That's mean that he is the center of the world. So by this monopoly, instead of trying to make himself lavish, he brought France economics power to the maximum. The military power to the maximum, and education and technological advancement was so impressive that even though other Europeans saw Napoleon as a tyrannical madman or the enemy of the humanity, but the France see Napoleon as their savior. So I think that's where Oliver Corona found the nature of monopoly. It was very realistic and it was very practical. I think it's like that.
Yes, betul. Kalau kita tengok several readers kan, kita tengok Caesar, Caesar kita nampak macam he's a politician. Memang he's a politician, tapi the moment that he goes about places, banyak benda yang dia buat positif. Tapi memang dia tyrant lah, nampak dia, for the fact that dia pergi control other places, trying to prove to the Rome that he is able to have that lineage of leaders kan. But he improved a lot about Rome. People love him because he take care of those in his domain, kan?
Betul.
Kita tengok Alexander the Great pun sama juga. Kita nampak setengah orang kata tyrant pergi attack negara orang, but he is trying to bring justice to other people's country.
Yes, betul. I mean, like that's probably the most impressive thing that you can have in this world right now.
Yeah, true. So the thing is, you have to be in control. Otherwise, if you allow people to have their own say, ramai orang cakap macam-macam kan.
Betul.
You cannot get things done. Whenever you are in chaos, somebody has to be a leader. Which is good lah, your observation. I hope, I tak risau about you, I risau about other class members.
Let's hope for the best.
They don't like to read and they don't like to ask. I can understand you not reading, but you can ask questions because the inquisitive punya nature of a person is one thing yang kita kena inculcate. Dia kena kenapa. They don't have that. I don't know, setakat ni I dapat.
I think macam I'm trying to answer your questions. I think I can do this because why they don't have that certain kind of passion already, because I think they don't see themselves on the future. I think they don't see the lights at the end of the tunnel.
Betul. I do agree with that. Yeah, I agree because you are forward thinking. You have clarity of life in front of you, and then you know the reality of life itself. They don't. They are yet to be in the process of life. Tapi what I don't expect them to go to the extent. I just apply to your current status, current knowledge that you have. So with that, you can ask question. Hopefully, one of these days they can recall the things that we have learned. Now it's already inside their mind. It's just a matter of for them to get clarity for exam. It is still in their mind. I know it is in their mind.
Oh, sir, I'm kind of worried with you, sir. Like, yeah, you are living in the city, so I hope you are okay there.
Oh, me, on COVID,
Oh, yes, I was very worried about you actually.
Thank you. Because with the current medical punya situation, so that's why yesterday we were like hooligans trying to enter into the COVID punya vaccine kan. Tapi apa betul, aduh. This is the thing that frustrates us, you know. My wife dia dah bulan 2 lagi dah register, but yet her times is not yet up. She is not being called, but other people's bulan 3, bulan 4 pun dah panggil dah. What is wrong? The system is not functioning. First come first serve. Dia mesti ada principle lah. First come first serve lah.
Betul. It's like that. I'm fearing that macam we are forwarding and spearheading towards our own little dark age on here. I'm really worried, sir.
Yeah, things getting worse and worse.
Yeah, because I'm not really worried about myself because I was living in the countryside lah kan, so in a small town, but I'm worried about you because you're living in the city, and if a country fall and city will fall first, so I kind of worried about you.
Okay, thank you so much for the concern. Inshallah, okay, cool. I have already contingencies being made. We have stocks of foods for both of us. I think sustain of water, we do have some reserve lah. So my wife selalu kata, you ni kita bukan nak pergi perang, whatever it is, the situation, catastrophe ke apa ke, at least we need to, because we are living in complete jungle. We don't have anything to forage. You know, orang yang dekat luar bandar, you can always go back at the back door and find food. We don't have food, so everything is being stocked up. I always have like a month or 2 of stocks.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear.
Kita selalu juga tengok prep up punya group. You know prep up punya groups, YouTube, prepping up.
Prep up.
Prep up the videos concerning group of people that are so concerned about things that might happen.
Prep up. I have watched a documentary about them. They are really impressive.
So they prepare everything. So in my house, hopefully, I do have some basic things prepared. Tak ada lah pergi attack rumah orang, you know, immediately.
I hope they didn't do that, sir.
I have methods of defending the house and things like that. You have to in this real society that we are living. Never trust the situation that is surrounding you. Always think for the worst. Kan?
Yeah,
Macam you dekat sana, okay lah, selamat sikit lah. Tahu lah Mi, things that hopefully kita pray for things to be changed lah. But the heading towards the trend is not good. Hopefully everything turns out okay, inshallah. If America can turn the other way, inshallah.
Betul sir.
Always prepare for the worst. Always think for the best.
Betul sir. So I think that's all for me, sir.
Yeah, all right. Thank you so much, Yami, for having the discussion.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it very much.
No, same here. I do appreciate you asking questions and things like that. Take care, Yami. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
My regards to your parents.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Bye, sir.
Bye.